Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs.
And I'm David Woldingen.
And right now, we just want to take a step back and recap what we think about the Cardinals after their 6-7 start. Before we get into that, please guys go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and leave us a comment. What do you think of this team so far? Then also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on X. All right, David. 13 games, 4 series. Broad strokes here. What are your thoughts on this team?
To start off with, I think our pitching has been better than a little bit better than expected, quite honestly. Um, they only have one or two games where they imploded outside of the whole Dodger series, but every team's going to struggle with them. So I kind of
Right.
write that off. Sonny Gray got his first start this week, looked really good. Only pitched 5 innings, had 64 pitches, was on a pitch count because it's his spring training essentially. Looked really, really good though. And if he continues to pitch like he did in that game, he's going to be a real asset to this starting rotation. But the big thing is this starting rotation is eating innings, which really opens up the bullpen. And because they're eating those innings, now you can actually set guys and set roles for like the seventh, eighth, and ninth inning, as well as start using guys whenever every once in a while a pitcher gives up 6 or 7 runs and has to be pulled early.
Yeah, you really said it for the pitching. The starters, Sonny Gray was spectacular. There have been a few good starts, but for the most part, everybody's getting 5, 6, 7 innings. And as you said, what this is doing is easing the pressure on the bullpen, allowing guys to settle into roles, routines back there. And we're seeing it where to me it looks like kind of a core four in the bullpen is going to be Andrew Kittredge, Jojo Romero, Gio Gallegos, and Ryan Helsley, perhaps in that order if they were to all four pitch. And Helsley maybe not the most consistent, but he is 4 out of 5 in save opportunities. But the other guys, man, clutch.
Well, and now with solid starting, now you open up the door for Matthew Liberatore or Zach Thompson, who's moving to the bullpen since Sonny came back up
Yeah.
to eat innings. If you do have to pull a pitcher in the fifth, he could go six to he could take you to the seventh inning to get you to those setup guys, if you will. So you have two long relievers essentially in there to cover if one of your other pitchers has a rough outing during the week. So really it just stabilizes the whole bullpen.
And don't forget, Keenan Middleton still on the IL. So that bullpen could get even deeper, whenever Middleton gets back. And it's a bullpen that is really solid. I mean, I'm ready for Andre Calante to go away. I just am. John King only pitched twice. And the first one was bad, second one pretty decent. We'll see. But yeah, the unit has a chance to be rock solid. The starters, jury's out to an extent, but certainly trending better than 2023. Now, this starting lineup offensively, there are some bright spots, but it's not very bright overall. We'll cover those bright spots first, David. And I think there are two guys here. You're talking about Mason Wynn, Ivan Herrera. Mason Wynn was leading rookies in batting average. Okay. Gosh, he was batting 340, 330s. He's doing great so far and becoming everything that Cardinals fans were hoping for.
Yeah, he's sitting at 314 right now. Um, doing all the little things, if you will, has a speed, not the speed of Victor
Victor
Scott,
Scott, yeah. But who
but it's
does?
but essentially once you get other guys healthy with Lars Nootbaar coming back on Friday, that's a step in the right direction too. You're potentially going to see Mason Wynn in the nine as probably your second leadoff man, if you will. with the way he's swinging the bat, um, I'm sure he's going to go through a down spot. But right now, you have to keep him in the lineup because really nobody else is swinging the bat like he is, other than one of your other backups, which is Ivan Herrera, who stepped in for Contreras after he got hit by a pitch in the hand. So, I mean, take what you get with him. I love what he's doing at the plate, and I hope he can continue it.
I'm all about rolling with the hot hand. And in this case, the hot hand is Ivan Herrera. And he's got his first three major league home runs. And really, he's one of the few sources of power in this lineup right now. And yeah, you got to play him. Contreras coming off the sore hand, got hit in the hand by the pitch in San Diego. It's nice that Herrera has performed well enough to allow Contreras to make sure that that hand is totally good to go, so that it's not something that lingers later in the season. And it's also good because now you have an opportunity for Contreras to maybe catch or DH, and Herrera, they can trade. And that's something that may pay dividends later in the season, where perhaps Contreras is not as burned out back there, just logging inning after inning. You cannot assume he's going to be like Yachty and just be there every single freaking day. That's not fair to assume because no one's Yachty. Um, yeah, these two guys are super important because of the lack of production in a lot of spots in this line. There are a lot of holes right now. Victor Scott batting ninth pretty regularly, and it's not really anyone's fault that he's there and he's batting under 100. I think it's fair to be frustrated, but not fair to be mad. And the reason I say that is it's not like the Cardinals want him there. He's there because Tommy Edman, Lars Nootbaar, and Dylan Carlson have all been hurt. Now, we'll see about this spot getting fixed with Lars Nootbaar, as you mentioned, coming off the IL, being activated for Friday's game, starting that series in Arizona. That is some Wednesday evening reporting from Katie Wu. Now, how is Lars going to be? We'll see. But I think that in the long run, he's certainly going to be batting over 100, right? So that should be some production returning to the Cardinals lineup. Okay. And that could be Lars can bat in a lot of places, honestly. So that's good. Then you
Well,
look at Jordan Walker, sophomore slump. We'll see what happens. With Nootbaar coming back, there's more flexibility, David, in terms of your outfielders. Maybe he can sit for a day or two and just work on his swing.
and with Lars coming back as well, you can mix and match your outfield too, and
Yeah.
you can move Donovan around too. Quite honestly, you can get some of the guys in the infield some rest too. Getting Nolan Gorman to take a little time and collect himself because he's only hitting something like 213 right now. Uh, I mean, by having Newt Bar come back, you're just opening up a chance to give guys who probably need to take a breather and collect themselves and get themselves right a chance to, because now you have guys to rotate. As you are right now without Lars, you're just playing bodies of whoever you have right now. Uh,
Yeah.
and we were talking about Victor Scott. It's worth noting he's never seen pitching above double A ball. So
Yeah,
this
it's,
is,
it's not his fault. That's why
yeah,
I don't think it's fair to be mad at the Cardinals or Scott. He was sent to the minor leagues 3 days before he was named the opening day center fielder. He was not going to be here, but for injuries.
right. So he hadn't had a chance to even see that level of pitching. So, I mean, hats off to him to what he's doing, and it's not affecting his defense at all for the most part. He's made maybe like one mistake this whole time he's been in there. So,
Yeah, Wednesday early on, he had pretty glaring mistake there in center, but as you said, overall, can't ask for much more defensively.
right. So
Now, I was going to move on to goalie and Arenado, David.
Yeah,
Two two different kind of slumps for two different very reasons, I should say.
Yeah, you have Paul Goldschmidt, traditionally starts slow,
Yeah.
more of a warm weather hitter, if you will. And he kind of showed that even here at the beginning of the season. He started out in LA and had a really good start actually against the Dodgers. And then once he got back home to St. Louis, really started to struggle. Again, colder weather. For whatever reason, he likes the warmer weather and just starts slow in April. His numbers will get there. I don't have much worry with him because, quite honestly, his bats this year have looked a lot better than they have last year. He's getting to that high fastball. Last year, it was a swing and miss pitch, quite honestly, for him.
Yeah.
But now he's putting the barrel to the ball, which shows me once he gets things dialed in, he could go on a huge tear for this team. Then you have Nolan Arenado.
Mm.
Uh, totally different story. His slump has just continued from last year, and quite honestly, I don't know what to say about that other than he needs to get it fixed. Otherwise, the Cardinals are going to have some decisions they're going to have to make.
No, the Cardinals cannot compete for anything seriously if Arenado does not figure this out and get back to the Arenado that everyone knows. Because, as you said, this is going back to an extended part of last season where he's getting a hit, it feels like once a game, but rarely is he getting multi-hit games. He's not hitting for much of any power. His batting average and slugging percentage got to be pretty darn close. I don't have it in front of me, but you get the
302
point.
for slugging, 245 for batting.
Yeah, there's no power. That has to change out of your guy who is often batting in cleanup.
Yeah, and I don't know what the solution is there other than maybe you move him around in the lineup. Uh, just either to take the pressure off or just try something new.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's a problem for the Cardinals. Like you said, I'm with you. Goldie, I expect 2, 3 weeks. We won't even be talking about Goldie in a slump. But yeah, Arenado, that's the one that's concerning. And I like to think that the Cardinals lineup's going to come around, and with Lars Newbar coming back, even Carlson, Tommy Edman, I get the feel that's a little bit more long term. I think he's got weeks before he's ready. Arenado's got to figure it out. It's as simple as that. If the Cardinals want to be even in the neighborhood of a wild card or catching the Brewers or Pirates or whoever for the Central. Um, but
Well, they
go ahead.
I was gonna say the easiest way to say this is with the pitching doing better than we expected, the offense needs to step up their game.
Yeah.
Uh, because right now we are where we are because the offense isn't putting up runs.
Yeah. You know, I'd say just to kind of summarize where we're at, there's a little bit more optimism overall. And I think part of that is that despite the lineup not being that productive, there's an understanding that, hey, this is not a very healthy team. Even Matt Carpenter is out, a bat off the bench potentially. So, yeah, there's reason to think that the production's going to go up. And I'd say from our preseason picks, I picked 79, 83, and you picked 80 and 82. There's reason to think they might be a little bit better than that.
Well, and it's worth noting that the Cardinals were the last team in Major League Baseball to make an error too. So the defense has been phenomenal,
Yeah.
and last year it was not. So
Yes.
if there's one other bright spot so far this season, the defense is playing the way they should, even with all the injuries, which is really impressive, quite honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, pitching and defense is there. Offense, there's reason to think it could get closer. And I think this team's ceiling right now mid to upper 80s in wins, maybe, which might contend for the Central, maybe,
Who knows with the
and
way the
might
Central
be
is?
close to a wild card. That's the team's ceiling, I think.
Well, and I laugh at that because right now the Central's beating everybody. It seems like the Cardinals are one game under 500 and they're what, last?
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, you look at the NL East and NL West, the coasts. Dodgers are the only team above 500 in the West. And then in the East, the Braves are above 500. The Phillies beat the Cardinals Wednesday to improve to 6-6, second place in the East. So there are more teams above 500 in the NL Central than the East and West combined. Just your traditional NL Central beating up on the coasts, right? I don't know what's going on. It's early, but hey, yeah, optimism up, hope up, but still a lot of uncertainty with this team, Dave. That's really where I'm at. 13 games in.
Well, and the good news is, I think for the rest of April they have Thursdays off. I believe it is.
Yes,
So it's not quite as grueling as the start of the season was.
the
And
schedule not as daunting as it looked 2 weeks ago.
correct.
Arizona's
And
not so good. We know Oakland's terrible. Mets not so much.
well, and I was going to say, and with Newt Barr coming back and all these other guys with these little like ding injuries, if you will, like Contreras' hand, so, Carpenter getting hit, all those smaller injuries, these guys are going to start getting healthy, and we're going to get our full roster back here soon for the most part. So once everybody's back, it's going to be real interesting to see how this offense goes, if you will, uh, for the remainder of April. And as you said, plenty of optimism going around with what we've seen so far. Plenty of questions too, but enjoy your April because I think it's going to be an interesting one to keep the to watch, if you will. And here at Under the Arch Sports, we'll make sure we keep you update with all Cardinals happenings, if you will. So thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for further news.